what actually happened to Valheim? It was in the top 10 on Steam for a while, and a lot of people were playing. It was really, really popular, and then just suddenly almost everyone left the game, and it became not so popular. Like, let's try to find out today what actually happened to the game. It's crazy.
Valheim was the biggest gaming hit of this year when it released on the 2nd of February. It seemed like everyone and their grandma was playing the game, and it truly was an enormous hype.
It lasted for
Valheim
months.
had millions of sales within weeks, a lot of viewers on all kinds of platforms like Twitch and right here on YouTube, and Valheim was one of the most played games of all time on Steam.
Top 10.
And for those that missed out, Valheim is basically an early access survival game with a sandbox experience inspired by Viking culture. It has all the good stuff from survival games as we know it. Things like exploring large worlds, gathering materials, fun combat, building amazing bases, killing bosses, and in Valheim's case, progressing your character from a nobody to a true Viking legendary warrior worthy of having a place in Valhalla. And a few months ago,
and you know what's like interesting here? Like, the world is so big, you can like evolve your character, and you can do this also in multiplayer with like friends and stuff. Like, I've seen people, they just started with like literally nothing, went to freaking bronze, upgrade to iron, everything, and they built a freaking stronghold together in multiplayer and stuff, right? But I feel like Valheim has more multiplayer potential, and what the devs could do with it, they could bring out some more multiplayer of Valheim, like promote this area more, the multiplayer area. Because Valheim is a very big world, and if you play there alone, you don't even get to use the whole world, really, right? So it's like good if you have like more multiplayer options and stuff, or like maybe some cool tournaments or something.
Viking legendary warrior worthy of having a place in Valhalla. And a few months ago, it truly was an enormous hype. It gets even better, as all of Valheim's success essentially came out of nowhere. There was not a big budget behind Valheim at all, it was barely hyped pre-release, and the entire game was developed by 5 people. Yeah,
it's a small
team
indie
of 5 people made this game. However, when considering Valheim at this moment in time, it seems that the game has lost a lot of its popularity and active players.
Holy shit!
But how did the
Look at those numbers, guys. Wow, minus here even 61%. Like, this is insane. But if you look at the chart, let's go back. Like, it was really, really high. Like, March, I feel like, March was like the most popular month. Like, in February, like, a lot of streamers got into it. I'm actually thinking also that like a lot of content creators like heavily promoted the game, right? Like, we also did like a couple of videos to it, and one even got like a bit bigger, and I was like quite surprised at this. And yeah, like, a lot of content creators, streamers, especially on Twitch, promoted this game heavily in February. Same in March, but then like in April, and I don't even think, like, I'm not blaming the content creators. No, it's not the content creators that are the reason why the game became unpopular. I have some thoughts, like maybe what I am thinking is that maybe the lack of content could be why a lot of people left the game. Because the game was maybe so overhyped in the first 2 months that people like did everything in the game possible in those 2 months, right? And then they had like no more bosses, and that's maybe why they quit. Maybe some are not like really the people that quit, but that went on a break until a new expansion or something. Who knows? And yeah, by the way, guys, if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content.
A lot of its popularity and active players. But how did the game go from being such an enormous hype to having a steep decline in popularity in a relatively short
Is it
period?
lack of content?
And how is
I
the
want to
future
know
looking
that.
for Valheim? Will we get another surge in interest and hype like we've seen with other survival games? Or is Valheim a game of the past? Well, I'll be answering these questions later in this video. But first, it's useful to know how a team of 5 people created such a hit in the first place. Welcome, by the way, I'm NizarGG, right here with another video. If you like my content, then give it a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And yeah, let's continue. How did a team of 5 people create such a hit? Well, Valheim worked because it was a fresh breath of air in the gaming world, while at the
it was sort of an innovation. Like, a lot of people were comparing it to Minecraft, right? Because there are some similarities with the building and the survival part of the game, right? And how there's like also food and stuff, right? And like people were comparing it, and some even said, "Hey, that's Minecraft for adults" or something. And the thing is, like, what makes this so innovative and like new and different from also Minecraft, because some people keep comparing it to Minecraft, is that it's a freaking Viking survival game that gives you almost sort of like Skyrim vibes mixed with some Minecraft and stuff, and it's just something you don't really find on the market. Like, sure, there are a couple of survival games, but have you ever seen like such a cool survival game that gives you freaking Viking Skyrim-like vibes, running around through a world, building a freaking cottage somewhere in the forest and stuff, having to freaking slay trolls to get some armor upgrade and stuff. Like, I think it's freaking cool, and it's like, it was like a blast, a fresh air, like fresh breath of air, literally. I felt the same way. I really enjoyed it, and I couldn't think of any game similar. Except for maybe the building aspect, like a tiny bit of Minecraft. But what's cool about building in Valheim is, if you build a wall too high, for example, or something, it becomes not so stable. And if you start placing more walls or something down on top, like especially if you're building a house and you're not using any pillars to stabilize, you suddenly see, oh, it gets like red or yellow. And if you start placing down more I'm saying blocks, walls, it will freaking break apart. Like, the whole way you build there and with like stabilizing buildings, I think this is really cool.
At the same time being also very accessible to a lot of people. Think about it like this: it's a survival game with a huge world, with a sense of always having more to explore and progressing your character with all kinds of cool items, and there's always just something to do. But
I like
at the
the
same
farming
time, the game
aspect a lot
defines
too.
clear
I think
goals
it's
for you
fun.
and gives you structure, namely that you need to prepare for bosses and accordingly kill them to progress, which is not always the case with survival games.
Yeah, there's an objective. That's cool.
Next to that, it has simple but well-established combat mechanics, and at the same time the game can be challenging
how you stagger
and
if you
brutal,
block at the
which
right time.
definitely keeps you on your toes. And then we also have the building aspect of the game. You can put all your creativity to use with a seemingly
But you have
building
restrictions
and
with
get
it must be
gratification
stable.
from making the best looking bases in the world and showing these off to other players.
Yo, I love this build behind him right there. Holy shit. Yo, we have to start like a new Let's Play Valheim series at some point. Now we are quite busy with like Let's Play World of Warcraft and Let's Play Skyrim. But if like one season ends, like let's say Skyrim for example is over the Let's Play series, I will maybe start a Valheim one. Maybe until then we have already like a new expansion. Or maybe I will also start now or very soon, but I will probably only be able to make like one episode per week. Let's see. We have so much content we still need to put out. It's crazy, guys.
Also important, you have the option to play it with a bunch of friends. Yes, it's a multiplayer game. It has a relatively cheap purchase price, which is of course a nice thing to have.
20
and last
euros,
but definitely not least, the accessibility of the game is not gated by graphics. As you know, the game has very simple graphics and most people can run the game in one shape or another. Combine all these aspects together and I think we're getting close to finding out how a game that seemingly no one knew about and pretty much was created as an indie project became.
Like, graphics don't make a game. It's really like that. I mean, look at freaking World of Warcraft, for example. Yeah, sure, we got some texture upgrades and stuff. But World of Warcraft is still better than a lot of, like, new MMOs that came out that have, like, way better graphics. And look at freaking Minecraft. You're running around as a Lego-like person almost. Like, everything is in freaking blocks. And Minecraft looks super pixelated. And people still hype the game like crazy. It's one of the most played games. Same with like WoW. WoW is still quite popular. And both don't have the best graphics. Even RuneScape. Like, how many people are still playing RuneScape? And this game is so old school. So yeah, games, like, the graphics don't make the games. The game design is what's important. Like, what can you do in this game? What options do you have? How is the world? How is the community? That's what makes a game.
An absolute massive hit. How steep is the decline in popularity for Valheim? Well, we have this great game, right? So not much can go wrong, you would say. But multiplayer games are also usually evaluated based on whether they can stand the test of time. And when we look at Valheim, it has seen a massive dropout from its initial 96% release to present day in terms of active players. Just take a look at the Steam statistics. It's a very significant drop-off. It barely has 10% of its player left right now in July at the moment of recording this video when compared to a few months ago. And the Steam statistics are not the only useful statistic for this, because we can also see the same trends in terms of viewership on various platforms like Twitch and more in general, a sharp decline in just overall interest for Valheim when taking a look at the Google trends. To see if these trends are concerning or not, let's compare them with other multiplayer survival games that were popular at some point in time.
You know what's funny here? That's like the same almost like on Steam if you look at here Google Trends. Like if we look earlier at the curve, let's see if I find it. Oh, it was here. Like look at this. There's like a lot of similarity here, right?
The Google trends. To see if these trends are concerning or not, let's compare them with other multiplayer survival games that were popular at some point in time and see whether we see the same trends there as well. So let's take a game like Minecraft. A lot of people
you can't compare with Minecraft, come on. Minecraft appeals to adults and kids.
If you compare to Valheim, it shows a very different pattern. Basically, the game has been very consistent for a long time.
Yeah.
The same story is also true for Ark Survival Evolved, which is another popular survival game. The trends here show a very consistent amount of interest over time.
Yeah, but what also makes the games, like for example Minecraft, is also that they have constant updates. Like there are constantly new patches that bring in new stuff. Like each time we get in Minecraft an upgrade, we're getting new blocks, new mobs, villages have been reworked, we got bees at some point, now we got a freaking caves update and we have like new stuff to explore. Like there are just so many updates coming with Minecraft. If Valheim every half year or 1 year drops some new patch with like new stuff, even like a new type of wood or tree or something, like that would actually keep the game longer popular. I'm pretty positive about it.
Personally, I also find Terraria in many aspects similar to Valheim, even though it's a 2D game, but definitely shares many of the survival and exploring aspects. And adding Terraria to the comparisons shows that, again, we find the same trends with Terraria as well.
Yeah, it was never as big, but it never went down
over time.
Wow.
So it seems that other similar survival games seem to not have such a steep decline in interest and rather seem to stay quite consistent over months or years even.
So what killed it?
So why is this not the case for Valheim?
Holy shit, how did you get there?
Why did Valheim fall off in terms of popularity? Now, first of all, Valheim is still obviously an early access game, so comparisons to much more established game like Minecraft that have been around the corner for over a decade might not be the most telling comparisons. But at the same time, we can definitely draw insights from comparisons like this, because like I said, more established games tend to be more consistent in performance. I don't think the decline in active players and interest stems from gameplay. I think Valheim is a really good game, but it does revolve around a simple gameplay loop, which basically goes something like this. You explore, you obtain materials, you use those materials for building, you make your character stronger with new items, and finally you kill the boss. Rinse and repeat. And this is where the problems become noticeable, obviously, because doing the same thing over and over will always get stale no matter the game, and at some point...
You know what I'm wondering? What if you take one thing out? Like what if the bosses are not an objective and there's like no freaking... like you start the world just kind of like in Minecraft, like you're just somewhere randomly and you don't have any main objective. Like would the game be more or less repetitive for people? Like there would not be this cycle, it would be like an infinite loop or something, and not just like this. Like I'm like wondering if one element is out, like kill the bosses for example, if there were like no bosses or just one boss and this one respawns anyway, if the game would stay longer popular. Because I don't think actually that it matters. Because if you wanted to, you can play Valheim just like Minecraft. You just start a world, you just go to different biomes, different areas, you build freaking towns or houses or something, and you go from A to B, you have like portals, you start like new projects and stuff. Like in Valheim, you can just like in Minecraft make random projects. Like, hey, I want to build a outpost somewhere with a huge tower, like somewhere, I want to build a castle. Like you can do the same thing in Valheim just like in Minecraft, for example. So yeah, I'm also confused at this. Is this really why?
you will
Why
have
the game
defeated
became less
all
popular?
the bosses in the game. And to combat that stillness or just the feeling that there's nothing left to do, changes and new elements to the game to keep it fresh need to be introduced. It's also very important that you shouldn't wait too long with introducing new gameplay elements to the
yeah,
game,
it takes too
because
long,
otherwise
Valheim.
the
But it's a
vast
small
majority
company.
might just go away and not come back. And it's almost been 6 months and there hasn't been any changes to the game outside of obviously some tweaks and bug fixes here and there, but there has not been any new gameplay, items, mechanics, bosses, whatever, you name it. And that's where, in my opinion, lays the root of the problem. Valheim has just gone dry. There have been no content updates and no new gameplay has been introduced, and the decline in interest and active players is the logical result of that. However, the developers have shared their plans with us, basically a roadmap that was published earlier this year. So let's take a look at that as well.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
You know what's interesting about the roadmap and stuff? Like, this all is super promising and all, right? But the issue is that it really takes a long time. Like, yeah, we got like one update like a couple of months ago and stuff, right? But like, it takes too long. But then again, it's a small company. There are just like 5 people working there, right? So what can we expect, right?
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up.
So this was the roadmap for Valheim that the developers themselves published earlier this year. It showed a lot of promise and quite some new updates to the game. And if you look at it, it's also quite ambitious actually, because as you can see, it consists of several
we got it a couple of months ago.
And a lot of
what is Cult of the Wolf and Ships and the Sea? Like, I wonder what they're gonna do with the ships. Because I find like sea has a lot of potential, right? But the way ships work right now in Valheim, there's something lacking. I feel like it's a bit too simple. Like, it would be cool if we could make like freaking battleships, or maybe build some cool kind of like a floating island or something like that, where you can have like a base on the sea. Like, I have some crazy ideas of like a sea base and stuff. Let's see what they're gonna change there. Or a ship that can be a house.
And just looking at this image already generated tons of hype a few months ago. But it was cancelled in a status update published by the developers on the 10th of June this year. And a new roadmap, or basically a new plan, was announced in that very same post.
Why?
The new roadmap was heavily reduced in size and pretty much only focused on trying to get the first key point of the original roadmap done this year. Meaning, releasing Heart and Home has become the main priority. And if there is time left this year, then maybe we will get the Mistlands biome after that as well. The new roadmap basically entails that the developers want to release Heart and Home in Q3 2021, which means that Heart and Home will be out in September at the very latest. However,
you know what, guys? I actually know how Valheim could have been more successful. And this sounds like crazy, but if actually our company, like a bigger company, like let's say Microsoft, I'm not sure why I'm using now Microsoft, maybe because I thought about freaking Minecraft and I thought about World of Warcraft, like how Blizzard was like freaking bought by Microsoft. No, but if seriously like a super big gaming company would buy the company and the product Valheim, I'm pretty sure they would make like a big office of 50 plus developers or something maybe. And they would like freaking do the roadmap in literally just 2-3 years. But because it's a small company and they had like such a long roadmap with so many plans, it's barely possible to do this with just a couple of people. Like, you need a big team of 50 plus, like I said. Otherwise, just forget it.
Heart and Home will be out in September at the very latest. However, we don't know if this is actually going to happen, as the roadmap got cancelled before, so why couldn't it happen again? Maybe that's a bit too skeptic, but for all we know, the smaller roadmap might get cancelled as well.
Let's hope
and
not.
Heart and Home can get delayed even more. This is something we just don't know at this moment, and we'll just have to patiently wait and see it for ourselves. And the reason why the roadmap was cancelled, in my opinion, in combination with the steep decline in popularity of this game, is maybe because the small development team that we talked about earlier may just have gotten overwhelmed by all the
don't have the
success
resources,
and hype and you name it, and as a result could not keep up anymore, and therefore had to slow down the development cycle, which is probably why we also see this roadmap being cancelled. All in all, I personally have faith in developers and do think that Heart and Home will in fact be released in Q3. But will this update and other potential updates in the future really bring back all the players and make the game a hype again?
This is the Easy Bar, a complete gem you can use at home or anywhere.
Will Valheim reclaim its throne again?
Now, what I see often happen with a lot of games, and we have seen this now recently with World of Warcraft, with like Eternity's End. Each time like a new big patch or expansion comes out for a game, there is some hype, but the sad part is it's only gonna last for a couple of months as well, right? Like the thing about like a lot of games is you have this kind of cycle where a new game comes out, it's crazy hyped if it's good, right? And then it lasts for maybe like 3-4 months, then it goes down. Then usually like 4 or 5 months later, sometimes a half year later, a new expansion comes out, it goes up again, maybe not to the same height that it was before, right? And it kind of like is here sometimes, and it's here, but because of the expansions, it meets like somewhere here usually. If you try to like find some sort of average popularity, it would be somewhere in the middle. Like that's how it is right now with freaking World of Warcraft, for example, and how Elder Scrolls Online also used to be with the first couple of expansions back in the day.
I personally think that Valheim can still do its thing and reclaim its throne. In my opinion, yes. Valheim is
Valheim
a
has
fundamentally
potential,
good game with
true.
a good gameplay concept.
It's
it
fun
has been
too.
universally critically acclaimed upon release for a reason, of course. So if the developers just stay consistent with their own game, why wouldn't it make a comeback? And yeah, consistency is key here, obviously. The game simply just needs an active development cycle, and with that, updates and expansions that get released for the game.
At
now,
least
based
yearly.
on the patch notes and
Better,
the news, it has
yeah.
been quite silent regarding Valheim. The last status update was about 7 weeks ago. Surprise, surprise, the team actually has made a community post while making this video. It's however a really small community post, basically just a tidbit of information giving us a heads up that they are still doing their thing out there. And the post includes 2 new sneak peeks for Heart and Home. The sneak peeks show that we will be getting an option to stack your gold coins in Heart and Home, and that they will add a treasure chest item.
Yeah, we got this. It's already out by the way.
And
Heart
finally
Home,
a
so.
iron grate.
This video was done a bit before.
Now this community post in my opinion feels quite underwhelming in terms of content for how long it has been since the last.
I think that's actually cool, like this idea with like freaking iron gates. It's actually funny because that's also the company's name. No, like this, I like this idea. Like you have like some sort of castle, and then you have like this iron gate, and you can have like either like a prisoner, like a grey dwarf or something, or you can just have like this one cool area where you just put all your freaking collections and stuff.
Now this community post in my opinion feels quite underwhelming in terms of
It's
content
too
for
small,
how long
yeah.
it has been since
It's a
the
short
last
one.
communication from the team. But at the same time I guess it's also a nod to the community, and it's good to hear at least something instead of
Yeah, better
complete
than nothing.
silence. Outside of the community post, let's also take a look at the patch notes, or in other words, the actual changes that they made to the game since release. And if you consider the patch notes, nothing really special has happened in the past months. Basically, they are just bug fixes or tweaks or little modifications to
Tiny
gameplay
changes.
elements. And the last substantial tweak was, in my opinion, back in March. Yes, all the way back in March with patch 0.148.6, which is about 4 months ago. So just based on this, it seems that it's really quiet right now, which may raise some suspicions for some people. So it's all speculation from here on out, but I do still think that the devs are working hard behind the scenes, and that in fact we will get Heart and Home in Q3. I base this thought and opinion mostly on prior community engagement, and I think there's definitely still drive and motivation to make more content for the game. But all in all, I can only really say that time will tell. Now the more important question is, if Heart and Home releases in Q3, will it restore all Valheim's hype and get it going again like it once used to be? Well, we haven't really seen much of Heart and Home outside of some vague sneak peeks that I have covered before.
Because this was like some months, this video was made some months before Hearth and Home. I'm gonna be honest, like Hearth and Home did bring some players back, but it didn't bring the majority of the players back, just a portion of them. So yeah, it did fix the game a bit, and we have now more stuff to do. I actually love the update. I think it's cool how we have like more building options now and stuff. Like I'm enjoying Hearth and Home, but it was not enough to bring the majority back, unfortunately.
Previous videos and speculated about with you guys. And in the latest stages
Maybe
development
Mistlands
news,
will though.
we also saw some specific pictures showing us that they will add new build pieces,
Yeah,
new
we got
cooking
those.
station extensions,
This is
new
cool.
types of food, and plantable onions. And now with the latest community update, also the iron grate, a treasure chest, which seems to be a different skin for the reinforced chest that's already in the game. So I'm not really sure what the functional difference will be between these two items, but yeah, maybe it's just a new aesthetic for a chest. And finally, the option to stack gold. I'm not sure if these things alone will let Valheim have another rise in popularity to what it once was, or if we actually need complete new gameplay mechanics like new bosses, mounts, new weapons, new terrain, whatever, you name it. But these are just a few pictures obviously, and there might be a lot more to Heart and Home that we haven't seen yet. Either way, I am optimistic, and I think definitely it can for sure respark interest for a good portion of Valheim's past players.
Those certain things are so annoying,
with the potential release of the Mistlands biome that might potentially also happen this year, and that might amplify the number of interested people even more. Basically, there are a lot of opinions, so I held this poll the other day, and you can see that many people who have quit the game say that they will in fact return to the game if there is a big update, even after playing for hundreds of hours. And so on that note, I will end this video, and we will just have to see what the future will give us, and I will keep you updated on this channel. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, whether you think that Valheim will get popular again, if Heart and Home is going to be any good, if you still have faith in the developers and the future of Valheim, and also your personal opinion on why we see these trends and steep decline in Valheim's popularity and interest. Maybe these are a lot of things, but yeah, just comment whatever you want. I think it's really interesting to see some discussions going on in the comment section. And if you liked the video, definitely give it a thumbs up.
I'll definitely like the video, it was very informative.
And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Alright, let me like this video, it was very informative, very good by Nisa GG, thanks for providing this information. And yeah, unfortunately Hearth and Home wasn't enough to bring everyone back, but a portion of the players did actually come back to check out the new things we got, like how they reworked the food system, like how now foods either give you more stamina or health, and how they actually completely reworked that. Also like some new building options, I think they are really cool. The more building options, the better, because I feel like Valheim started with very few building options. Like you have only this one type of wall thingy, you have like, yeah, a bit of stone, but it was not enough in my opinion for dedicated builders, right? And when it comes to why Valheim declined in popularity, I also think it's because of the lack of content, basically, because the game comes out, everyone is hyped about it, plays it for 2 months, day and night, literally. Maybe some play for 8-9 hours a day, and then after 1 month you've beaten the game, and then you're like, what should I do? Should I just, like in Minecraft, randomly start like new worlds, build new homes? Should I just change the biome, relocate my base? And people run out of ideas. What keeps the hype with expansions and games up a bit more is if there's a heavier multiplayer focus. Like this is with MMOs. MMOs can last longer with an expansion hype because there's multiplayer, so you don't care as much. Like you still care about the in-game content, but since there's a multiplayer aspect, you care also a lot about your friends and community that you play with. And Valheim is, even though it has a multiplayer option, it seems to be more heavily focused on single player. That's the impression I get while playing. And when it comes to expansions, you shouldn't wait for multiple years or for like new stuff to add to the game. But I don't think it's possible for Iron Gate to give faster updates like they do, for example, with Minecraft, because it's a way smaller company. They don't have as many developers that other companies have, right? So, like, I get it. They have like limited resources, and the hype cannot, like, you can't refresh like stuff and add like new content to the game with a small company. It makes sense. And how can Valheim be saved? Like the best option, like the best possibility to save it is, of course, give us a very good patch, a very good expansion, like the Mistlands. We get like a new biome, we get maybe some more building options, new mobs, new this and that. Like that would definitely hype the game again. And then what it also needs is dedicated streamers and content creators that can imagine for at least several months to stream this game. Because like there is so much power when it comes to streaming and making content, when it comes to promoting games. Like, I give an example. Let's say PewDiePie decides to, let's say a new expansion comes out for Valheim Mistlands. PewDiePie decides for 1 month straight to stream the game, do a like some sort of let's play or something, right? And then the game will be so popular and hyped. Like if we go right now, for example, on Twitch, I'm pretty sure there are some games that are actually quite, let's say, old or not as super hyped, right? And they are still pretty popular. Like here, for example, Teamfight Tactics. This game has been out for quite a while, right? And it's crazy popular still, thanks to the creators. World of Warcraft, I mean, it did just have an update, right? But it also stayed a long time popular because of very old school content creators that stayed dedicated to the game and have like a big community. Like let's go in World of Warcraft, for example. Like PS Hero, for example. Like he's a legend, he has been streaming for eternity. Same with Prefox, and like there are so many other creators, and they have like a big dedicated community, and they keep staying with their games, right? So what if we had like some Valheim creators with a big community that stay dedicated to Valheim for years? I think the game can also live longer because the creators are also making some hype for the game, right? But anyway guys, that's my feedback on Valheim. Please let me know in the comment section your thoughts on why you think the popularity declined in Valheim. What do you think can save Valheim? If you guys are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. I'm considering to start a Let's Play Valheim series again. Let's see. If there's soon an update coming or something, I'm definitely interested in doing that. And I wish everyone a wonderful day. If you liked this video, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next time.